So, war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu, wanted by the International Criminal Court, was invited by another convicted felon called Donald Trump to the White House for the second time in as many months to showcase the obscene spectacle of mockery of the rule based international order. A war criminal who the US should be using all its powers to have him face the full force of the law was being given VVIP treatment. Clearly, the US has long turned into a failed state. But the bigger worrying development for me was seeing the so called media's pathetic downfall. Never knew these media representatives from some of the well known organizations would happily crawl before two convicted criminals when they were not even asked to bend. The White House had cancelled the main press conference, by the way. You must know that. This press conference was supposed to be held at the White House, and they cancelled it, fearing that it may not be able to control every single member of the media, since not all have sold their conscience. Trump knew that his war criminal friend would face grilling for his latest episodes of war crimes in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, and more crucially, the cold blooded murder of 15 paramedics in Gaza. Trump also knew that bloodthirsty terrorist Netanyahu was visiting the White House immediately after Israel was forced to admit that it had lied over the barbaric murder of those paramedics. Hence the decision to cancel the main press conference. Instead, Trump and his associates decided to interact with the sellout media representatives at the Oval Office. You know why? Because at the Oval Office, only a selected few is allowed. And these morally bankrupt media representatives didn't disappoint Trump and his war criminal friend. Just have a look at the quality of questions asked on the Gaza situation by these pathetic souls.
Mr. President, I want to ask you about Iran because this is the first time we hear that the U.S. is having a direct contact with the Iranians. Is it possible to give us some more information at what level Submissive?
Many Israelis are watching you now on live show.
Good.
What is your specific
I hope they like
way of getting the hostages out from the horrific captivity?
Yeah.
If you're going to negotiate a new deal with Iran, can you elaborate how it's going to be more effective than the JCPOA?
Israel, the IDF is fighting again in the Gaza Strip. I myself might be called up in a month. Do you think that's the way to pressure Hamas to get to a deal? And do you think blocking humanitarian aid is also an effective pressure?
Is the immigration plan still on the agenda?
Which immigration?
From Gaza. From Gaza. Two questions, please. First, you can give us more details about where the meeting on Saturday is going to
I can't tell you that.
And second question about this. A lot of people think that those talks are not going to lead anywhere because the Iranians
may be
will
right.
never give up their nuclear
That's,
program.
I think that's a possibility
If
too.
diplomacy fails, is the United States under your leadership ready to take military action to destroy the Iranian nuclear program and remove this threat?
Mr. President, was October 7th the death blow of the two-state solution, and would you consider classifying the Palestinian Authority as a terrorist organization for its continued pay-for-slay terror financing payments?
Not a single media representative. I like to call them media representatives. They are not journalists for me. Not a single one of them cared to corner Netanyahu on how he could justify the collective punishment for 2 million people in Gaza, where this genocidal maniac has not allowed any food, water, or medicine to enter for 6 weeks now. He's murdered more than 1,000 Palestinian children and babies in the same period. Some of those children and babies were murdered so mercilessly that their bodies could be seen flying in the sky before falling on the ground. You can see all those and other videos on our Telegram channel, details on the screen. And yet, there was not a single question on this during the so-called press conference by these media representatives. Being true to his shameless and revolting self, Netanyahu said that Hamas had caused the blockade of Gaza for so many years and decades. As expected, he was not challenged by these spineless media representatives. There should have been an outrage if those present there cared about their professional ethics.
I think what the president talked about is, first of all, to give people a choice. You know, Gazans were closed in. And any other place, including in arenas of battle, I mean, whether it's Ukraine or Syria or any other place, people could leave. Gaza was the only place where they locked them in. We didn't lock them in. They're locked in.
These so-called journalists also didn't challenge Trump when he shockingly said that Israel should never have ended its occupation of Gaza.
So importantly is to have that be a safe field, because you're right smack in the middle of the Middle East. You're right along Israel. It should have never, ever been given away. It shouldn't have been given away by Israel. I don't know why they did it. I mean, I do know why, because they were promised peace, but that didn't work out too well, because it's one of the most dangerous pieces of land anywhere in the world. Gaza is one of the most dangerous places in the world. So they gave it away for a good intention, and it didn't work out that way. And a lot of people like my concept, but you know, there are other concepts that I like too. And there are some concepts I don't like. You know what I don't like? The way it is now. Because right now it's a dangerous death trap, Gaza.
I mean, how can you be at peace and act normal when such audacious claims that violate not just the international law, but also morality and common sense are being made? How on earth can you call yourself a human, let alone a journalist, after being a mute spectator to such brazen disregard for international law? If these media representatives have any self-respect left, they should quit their profession now. Journalists who are true to their profession are expected to hold those in power, however powerful they may be, and whatever the consequences, to account. That's why we are called watchdogs. But these US-based media representatives are bringing disgrace to this noble profession every day. They were meant to be watchdogs, but they have turned themselves into lapdogs. This is what I had said about my Indian colleagues in a TEDx talk 10 years ago. This now also holds true for these White House and State Department reporters. Wonder how they face their children and family members after such disgraceful acts every day. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you do think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.